Hey everyone, today's video is about how to say I love you to your cat in a way that I actually understand, because, spoiler alert, saying it out loud just gets you stared at like you're a sentient vacuum. You're shuffling across the living room barefoot, holding a toy mouse in your mouth for dramatic effect, and they still act like you're the weird one. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you really like what I do here. Also, post your location and local time in the comments. I want to know where in the world people are getting emotionally ghosted by cats. You're sitting on the couch, crumbs in your hoodie pocket, and across the room, Whiskers is eyeing you like a suspicious cheese vendor. You blink slowly. 1, 2, pause. They blink back. Boom! That S-Cat Morse code for I acknowledge your existence without emotionally attaching myself to your outcome. Translation line. Now, turn off the lights. Maybe turn on the fan for some soothing noise. And let's watch today's video. It starts with a blink. No, not yours, theirs. You try it again later. In the kitchen. Blink nothing. Blink again. They sneeze and leave the room. That's the thing with cats. Every day is a new emotional climate. One overpriced sachet of tuna pita, served at room temperature on a tiny ceramic dish you once used for wasabi. Cleopatra allegedly wore eyeliner partly made of crushed beetles to impress her feline companion. You lay offerings at their paws. A crinkled straw, half a feather, your own hair twisted into a tiny spiral. Nothing! Then, a miracle you'll offer your stomach. Not literally. This isn't gladiator times. You'll flop on the floor, belly up, arms out, a gesture of ultimate trust. Whiskers pauses, stares, sniffs your hand, then gently places one paw on your forehead like a tiny priest. You've been blessed. You cry a little. Quietly, Whiskers the cat has decided your face as both pillow and ownership certificate. You lie still, blinking slowly, because now you get it. This is the feline I love you. It's not a... You nod, silently appreciating the moral support. You begin to meow softly back when they chirp at birds. Not because it makes sense, but because it makes connection. You're both curled up like two croissants in a sunbeam, and Whiskers turns their head, looks you dead in the eye, and purrs, not a polite purr, a chainsaw of contentment rumbling through their chest like the world's fluffiest motorcycle. They press their forehead to yours. It's not even eye contact. It is hot fish breath on your cheek at 3:12 a.m. and a single crumb of kibble left on your pillow like a mafia message. You, on the other hand, just rubbed sardine oil on your wrist like a tragic cologne. Remember? The Treaty of Tordesillas divided the world in half with less emotional transparency. The fan hums, the lights dim, and you were still curled up with that warm little creature who never said I love you with words, but somehow said it clearer than anyone else. You don't need to move or speak or even blink. You found the language, and it's quiet, steady, and deep as a purr. In the dark, you sit beside them when they stare at shadows on the wall. You don't ask why. You don't interrupt. You just be. And slowly, Whiskers starts including you in their day, watching pigeons from the window, knocking over the same succulent 3 times, dragging your socks behind the couch as if stockpiling for winter. It doesn't help. Now your cat thinks you're both suspicious and delicious. Presentation is everything. You crouch beside it like a nervous chef on a cooking show. Whiskers approaches, sniffs, licks once, then vomits a hairball next to your sock. You crawl under too. Not to comfort them, but to join them. That's the difference. You're no longer the needy human. You're just another creature seeking refuge from a sky that occasionally screams. You blink slowly. They do too. You share a moment so profound it makes you forget you once tried to vacuum them while humming. Careless whisper. The city glows quietly. Whiskers rests a paw on your hand. You don't say anything. You just breathe the same air, watch the same moth bounce off the glass, and understand something that doesn't need explaining. You are love. You're like a 17th century sailor reading signs, praying you don't get shipwrecked on the Isle of Indifference. And yet you persist because love, like the Treaty of Versailles or the invention of spray cheese, doesn't always make sense, but it changes the world. Because love to a cat isn't loud, it isn't clingy, it's small gestures, quiet, present, belly sacrifices, and mutual ignoring. You don't chase it, you show up for it. So you start watching them learning. When they flop dramatically on their side like a Victorian widow, that's an invitation. When they present there, but it's not easy. They're basically cat-sized jazz musicians with unpredictable rhythms. But you try anyway. Weirdly, also an invitation. You resist the urge to narrate it like a David Attenborough documentary. You blink against slow, gentle, like you've just learned the meaning of inner peace from a YouTube monk. This time, Whiskas returns it, then turns around and shoves their tail in your face. Progress! And just when you think you've cracked the code, they knock a glass off the table with the deadpan energy of a French existentialist. You clean it up in silence, because love is patience and occasionally bleeding from the ankle. You decide to escalate, not in a rent-matching sweaters way, no. You go primal. You prepare a feast. You take it personally. Naturally, but in ancient Egypt, cats were literal gods. You pivot strategies, gift giving. Later, during a thunderstorm, you find Whiskas hiding under the bed, pupils like saucers. Afterward, they nap beside you, twitching in dreams. You mimic their posture. You try to match their breath, and that weirdly works, even if it pees in your laundry basket out of spite. You wake up with Whiskas in your mouth. Not metaphorical, one's actual whisk. From that moment, you stop chasing declarations and start learning silence. At some point, you notice how they nap beside your laptop during Zoom meet. They blink once when your boss says something condescending, and then it happens. The big moment. The grand meow boom. Cat kid. That's it. That's the language. No roses. No karaoke confessions. Just presence, warmth, and synchronized purring. It's more honest than most human relationships. Later that night, you both sit by the window, and maybe, just maybe, that's all they ever needed to hear. The world slows down now. End of script. Thanks for following along.